Level 1, the first night. You're 24, standing under lights that were designed by people who studied human attention for a living. There are no clocks here, no windows. That's not carelessness, it's architecture. You don't know that yet. All you know is that your buddy's bachelor party has landed you at a roulette table. A stranger just handed you a whiskey you never asked for, and the felt under your hands feels warmer than it should. You put down $30 on black. It hits. You leave it there, it hits again. You walk out with $210 that didn't exist in your pocket 3 hours ago, and a feeling in your chest you don't have a word for. Not yet. Level 2. The habit forms. You go back. Then again. The second time alone, you don't mention that part to anyone, not because it's a secret exactly, just because it doesn't need saying. You've been reading strategy charts online. Basic blackjack, optimal plays, the house edge shaved down to almost nothing if you play the numbers right. You've been drilling it on an app for a month. You win some, you lose more. But you do the math on your phone in the parking lot and realize across every trip so far, you're still ahead. That number becomes an identity. I'm someone who wins here. It's not a hobby anymore. It's a fact about who you are. The trips multiply 3 times a year, then 8, then monthly. The stakes creep from lunch money amounts to numbers that would make your rent nervous, except you can afford it. You have a real job, real bills, paid on time. This is just entertainment, same as a concert ticket, and nobody interrogates you over a concert ticket. Your friend Dev has come with you exactly once. Lost $40, shrugged, said it wasn't his thing, never came back. He doesn't get why you keep going. You've stopped trying to explain it, because every explanation sounds smaller out loud than it feels in your chest. It was never really about the money. It's the 12 seconds between placing a bet and finding out if you were right. Everything else in your life takes weeks to resolve. This resolves instantly. You've never felt more awake than you do in those 12 seconds, and you've decided that's just a preference, not a symptom. Level 3, the regular. 2 years in, you've got a loyalty card. The casino tracks your play, rewards you with free buffet meals and a comped hotel room when you've lost enough to make it worth their while. You didn't clock what loyalty rewards actually meant when you signed up. You understand now you earn the free steak by handing over enough money that the steak is a rounding error for them. You use the comps anyway. I was going to lose it regardless, might as well eat well while I do it. That's the logic of a man who has already made peace with losing. Sessions stretch. 2 hours becomes 4, becomes 7. You've started reading dealers, who's cold, who's due, a superstition you can explain as nonsense and still feel is true. You keep a spreadsheet now, it feels responsible. It shows a net loss of $6,000 over 2 years, which you round down to less than my car payment and file away. What the spreadsheet is actually telling you is a slope, one direction, no exceptions. But you remember the up nights in Technicolor and let the losses blur into background noise. You've started borrowing from next month, moving money from savings into checking the night before a trip, promising yourself you'll put it back. You do twice. The third time, there's nothing left to put it back with, and you don't tell a soul. Level 4, the turn. There's no single night where it flips. It's a slow recalibration, the kind you only notice in the rearview mirror. Somewhere in there, the reason you go stops being to feel that 12-second spark and quietly becomes to get back to zero. And getting back to zero feels close, achievable, like a destination you can already see through the windshield. You've clawed back from $3,000 down to $400 up before, and that specific feeling, the physics of a comeback, is the strongest high you've ever touched. Except every time you chase it, the hole has to be deeper to make the climb worth anything. Your girlfriend Priya has started noticing the version of you that shows up the night before a planned trip clipped somewhere else. She hasn't seen the numbers, but she's felt the shape of them. Her questions get half answers. You've become fluent in half answers. You call in sick one Tuesday and spend the whole day at a table. You've never done that before. You tell yourself it's a one-off for 3 weeks, until it isn't. Dev asks you straight, a few drinks in. Asks if the casino thing has gotten bigger than you've been letting on. You say it's a rough financial patch, that you've got it handled. He looks at you a beat too long before he lets it go. That's Dev. He gives you the space you ask for. even when space is the opposite of what you need. Level 5, the frame. By the time you notice, your whole life has quietly rebuilt itself around this. Not on purpose, nobody chooses it on purpose. But your calendar bends around casino hours, the way water bends around rock, so slowly the landscape looks like it was always this shape. You know the shift changes. You know which nights the high-limit room opens up. You've driven 40 minutes past your usual spot because they'd flagged your account and you needed distance. You took out a personal loan, $18,000, filed under home renovation. 10 of it went to the tables. You clawed back 3. The rest evaporated into rent, utilities, the car payment you'd missed while your checking account sat at 0. Priya moved out 2 months ago. The conversation was honest in the way money conversations rarely are. She didn't have the exact number, just the shape of it, and she said she couldn't keep watching you vanish into something you wouldn't show her. You told her she was overreacting. You knew she wasn't. You were saying the words of someone not ready to stop yet. You don't sleep that night. You go at 1 a.m. and lose 500 in an hour. You sit in your car outside your building after, and for the first time, with the specific clarity that only exhaustion brings, you think, this has a shape. This has a history. Level 6, the floor. The eviction notice comes on a Tuesday. 30 days. You knew it was coming, and knowing changed nothing, because knowing was never the part you struggled with. You spend a week hunting for a way out that doesn't require telling the truth. You call your parents, describe a temporary cash flow issue. They believe you, because you've been describing temporary issues for 2 years and they've always resolved. This one doesn't. 2 friends fall through on subletting. You spend $300 you don't have at a table on your second to last Thursday, not because you think it'll fix anything, but because you don't know what else to do with a Thursday like that. Dev finds out on a Sunday not from you. He runs into your landlord, who still has him listed as your emergency contact from a lease you signed 2 years back without thinking it through. The landlord mentions the eviction. Dev calls. You let it ring out. He calls again. You pick up. It's a short conversation. He offers his couch. You say you don't need it. He says the offer stands. You show up at his door on day 30 with 2 duffel bags and a laptop. He doesn't mention the date. He just steps back and points you toward the spare blankets. 6 weeks on that couch is long enough to actually see what you built and what it cost. You wake up every morning surrounded by someone else's furniture, someone else's framed photos, someone who's been quietly running his own life while you were busy chasing yours. He never says a word about it. It's just what the room tells you. He drives you to your first meeting, waits in the car. When you come out, he asks how it went, and you say, weird. He says, makes sense. You drive home without talking, and it isn't the uncomfortable kind of quiet. He does this 3 more times before you can drive yourself. 8 weeks later, you find a smaller place, 1 bedroom, $200 less a month, farther from work. You move your bags out of his apartment in a car he lent you for the day because yours got repossessed 6 months earlier, something you never mentioned to anyone, the kind of detail that stops registering once you're deep enough in it. The morning you leave, he makes coffee. Asks if you're okay. You say you're working on it. He nods, not the kind of nod that promises it gets easier, just the kind that means he believes you, and that's enough for today. You pay him back over the next 2 years. Not just the loan from that one conversation, everything. You write the full number down once, then never look at it again, because by then, the number isn't the point anymore. Epilogue. Sometimes you still pass the place on the highway. You always know exactly where it is. You probably always will. What comes to mind now isn't the tables, or the free steak dinners, or the 12 seconds. It's a fold-out couch, extra blankets, a door that opened without asking a single question. That's the real bill. Not the money, the door and the fact that it opened anyway.